Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Gauranitai Jai Gauranitai Jayo Jagannath Baladeva Jai Shri Subhadra Jayo Radha Vallabha Shri Radhe Jayo Radha Vallabha वल्लभ श्री राधे। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य सतोरशत श्री श्रीमद्भवे चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की। श्री क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की। गंगा मैया मनमाई की। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की। सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10. It's too loud. Canto 10, Chapter 7, verse number 18. Ekahadaharoham arudham Ekadaroham arudham Lalayanti sutam sati Lalayanti sutam sati Garimanam sishorvodhum Garimanam sishorvodhum Nasehe girikutavat Nasehe girikutavat Ekadaro hamarudham Lalayanti sutam sati Garimanam sishorvodhum Nasehe girikotavat Ekadaro hamarudham Lalayanti sutam sati Garimanam sishorvodhum Nasehe girikutavat Lalayanti sutam sati sutam sati Mataji. sutam sati. Sutam sati Garimanam Shishorodham Girikotam Lalayanti Sutam Sati Garimanam Shishorodham. Ekada, one time, estimated to have been when Krishna was 1 year old. Sorry, it's long. Aroham, on his mother's lap. Arudham, who was sitting. Lalayanti, was patting. Sutam, her son. Sati, mother Yashoda. Garimanam, because of an increase in heaviness. Shishoho, of the child. Vodhum, to bear him. Na, not. Sehe, was able. Girikutavat, appearing like the weight of a mountain peak. Translation. One day, a year after Krishna's appearance, Mother Yashoda was patting her son on her lap, but suddenly she felt the child to be heavier than a mountain peak, and she could no longer bear his weight. Please repeat the translation. One day, a year after Krishna's appearance, Mother Yashoda was patting her son on her lap, but suddenly she felt the child to be heavier than a mountain peak. She could no longer bear his weight. Purport. Lalayanti. Sometimes a mother lifts her child, and when the child falls in her hands, she laughs. And the mother also enjoys pleasure. Yashoda used to do this, but this time Krishna became very heavy, and she could not bear his weight. Under the circumstances, it is to be understood that Krishna was aware of the coming of Trinavattasura. Is it echoing? Yeah. I feel it's very loud. I don't know why I'm feeling it. Krishna was aware of coming of Trinavattasura, who would take him far away from his mother. Krishna knew that when Trinavrata came and took him away from his mother's lap, Mother Yashoda would be greatly bereaved. He did not want his mother to suffer any difficulty from the demon. Therefore, because he is the source of everything, Janmadi Yasayataha, he assumed the heaviness of entire universe. The child was on the lap of Yashoda, who was therefore in possession of everything in the world. But when the child assumed such heaviness, she had to put him down in order to give Trinavattasura an opportunity to take him away and play with him for some time before the child returned to the lap of his mother. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। Hare Krishna. So new pastime begins today. The pastime of killing or destroying the Shakhatasura is over. And now the demon Trinavartasura will be destroyed. So something very, very attractive that is there in Krishna's pastime, that it brings in a lot of contradiction, it brings in a lot of emotions, it brings in a lot of exchange between him and his devotees. It's not just Krishna going out to kill Trinavrata. Now here we see a contrast between Mother Yashoda's dealing with Krishna and then Krishna's dealing with Trinavrata. Both are carrying Krishna. For both of them, Krishna is light at a point. For both of them, Krishna becomes heavy at a point. But the results are very different because the exchange is very different. The devotee's desire to deal with Krishna is very different. So the heaviness and the lightness of Krishna in both the cases is very different. So now, as the purport and the word translation says in Srila Prabhupada explains us that one time means when Krishna was 1 year old. So still Krishna is not able to express how he wants to do things. The only way he can do is through body language. Now when Trinavrata is supposed to come, Krishna, who is the knower of past, present and future, he knows Trinavrata is going to come and what he wants is to destroy him. But he also knows that when Trinavrata will come, the first thing he has to experience is seeing his mother in extreme distress. Because imagine if Krishna was on the lap of Mother Yashoda. So Trinavrata, who is a whirlwind demon, a sort of massive hurricane coming, a tornado destroying. I don't know if you have seen a tornado or a video of it. It is powerful enough to take a house along with it. Trucks, cars can just, what to speak of people. Very powerful force. It's not just some harsh wind blowing which will throw some dust in the eye. It really destroyed Vrindavan. It did a lot of great damage to so many things in Vrindavan. And Krishna knew this is coming because, as I said before, for him to know past, present, future is very natural. Does any verse from Bhagavad Gita comes to your mind? When we about this quality of Krishna? Yes, bro. Yes. We'll chant it together. It's a nice verse actually. 726. Vedaham samatitani vartamani cha Arjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu veda na kaschana. Very interesting verse. Krishna is telling about himself and then he tells our condition also. He says, "O Arjuna, as a supreme personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all the living entities. But mam tu veda na kaschana, but no one knows me." So even Mother Yashoda had no clue what Krishna is going to do right now. So if you see this word, very sweet word, lalayanti, which is translated as she was patting. But in the purport, Prabhupada explains, you know how many times parents do with the children? They lift the baby and they play with the child. So that's what Mother Yashoda was doing. Imagine how light Krishna must be for Mother Yashoda to just play with Krishna, just lift him and catch him. And seeing the excitement on Krishna's face, she was very happy. And this was the exchange going on between Mother Yashoda and Krishna, and then suddenly he became heavy like a mountain peak. Of course, that didn't hurt or harm Mother Yashoda, but the effect here is to explain she had no choice but to put Krishna down. And when she had no choice but to put Krishna down, then she went to do her daily chores in her house. And this is this very same pastime, after which is the first time she will see universal cosmic manifestation in Krishna's mouth. She sees this twice. One is after this immediate pastime, and then later when Krishna ate some dirt. So now Krishna is kept aside, and here comes Trinavrata. Of course, in verses from tomorrow and day after, Trinavrata's appearance and his destruction will be explained, but very briefly. Now, what Krishna did was he became very heavier for Mother Yashoda, but very light for Trinavrata. And this is exactly, if you see in context with the devotees and the non-devotees, that's how Krishna may appear. When Krishna is very light, that means very attractive to devotees, he becomes very difficult for people who are outside, not understanding Krishna, to even fathom his behavior, his patterns, his lifestyle, his journey, his responses to so many things. To a degree that many, in a respectful way I'm saying, many less intelligent transcendentalists, they would claim, or they would even say statements like, you can also become God. You can also be glorified in future as God, as long as you know how to respond to life's challenges like Ram and Krishna did. And these are famous gurus, like very famous. Of course, I'll not name, but this is... And the classic statement was that when challenges came to Lord Ram, his greatness was not him being Bhagwan, according to him. His greatness was how he dealt with them. And why you are respecting and worshipping Ram and Krishna is the way they dealt with the problems. Otherwise, you won't worship them. So how Lord Ram would always stick to his maryada, his commitment, his vows to follow certain dharmic principles. He would not deviate from them, no matter what happens. That's why you worship him. Krishna knew that him going to Mathura and Dwarka will basically mean that he cannot see his very dear most residents of Vrindavan. But he still did that because he was duty bound, and that made him worshipped as God. So this is the argument basically. It's a very well received argument by people for whom Krishna is very heavy to handle, very difficult, and it's very commonly understood. To a degree that this person even said, which was heavily, he was heavily chastised, that Mother Yashoda and Krishna are in relationship as mother and son when Krishna was baby. But this same woman became a gopi when Krishna grew up. Just imagine the craziness, So, very heavy. The whole concept of Bhagwan becomes very heavy for people like such mindset, because they may be saintly in whatever terms, but it's demoniac. That's what happened with demons like Trinavrata. And that's where Prabhupada very strongly condemns Mayavad, because the Mayavadis received the same position or same result as these demons got, which was Sayujya Mukti, which is impersonal liberation. They may get liberated, but that will be in the effulgence of the Lord. That is, if they achieve that position very successfully. Now, because Krishna is Yogeshwar, he decided in this pastime that I don't want to see Mother Yashoda being disturbed, and I don't want her to see me being carried away. Very careful he was. So now Trinavrata comes, easily just carries Krishna on his shoulder and just flies high in the sky. Now Krishna is enjoying the upper view. This is the whole view of Vrindavan, but the destruction also he can see. But then he decides that it's enough. I've seen enough of the distress of Vrindavan Vasis. Because by the time this whole destruction was happening, Mother Yashoda came back to the same spot and she finds Krishna is not there. And that's where she becomes very distressed. And then Krishna starts increasing his own weight on Trinavrata's body. And he had no choice but to bring Krishna down. But Krishna just did not increase his weight to discomfort him. He increased his weight so much to kill him. And if in the contrast, or not the contrast, but the discussion of modern day very less intelligent transcendentalists, if you see, when Krishna through his pastimes increases so much weight, people actually die from the whole idea of developing their relationship with Krishna, which is a very sorrowful state. And you can try and speaking to people, and there is no way you can impress this fact upon them that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Develop your relationship with Him. Recently in India there was a movie, Krishna Avataram. So my niece, nephew, some cousins, they saw this movie. And we were discussing about what this movie showed. It showed about Krishna's pastimes, but very specifically they made sure this point was put across, that even though he is avatar, there is a superior force above him which even dictates his actions, and he has no choice but to abide by those actions. And in the movie they're showing Krishna is crying and he's saying, I just can't do anything about it. I know it's troubling me. I know leaving Vrindavan is a problem thing. And he's literally crying like a helpless person and explaining and expressing his and he's making a point that Vidhi has decided this. The superior authorities have decided this. Now I have no choice but to abide by this final say that I have to leave Vrindavan or I have to act in a certain way in the movie. And then suddenly, because they cannot hide Krishna's potency, they have to show him doing some magical feats and all that. But simultaneously, it was very clearly, the message was passed very clearly that there is someone superior to him whom he also abides by. And it's very difficult for common people to understand this independent abhigya swarat nature of Krishna. That he is not answerable to anyone, he does not follow anyone's dictates, rather it's the other way. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, very specific word, very nice verse is this, that, what is it, how it begins? Where I come as in my human form. What is the first? When I come as human form, people don't understand me. Huh? Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanu mashrita param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwara. Avajananti mam mudha. Those who are mudha, those who are less intelligent, it's very difficult for them to understand me. When I appear in my human-like form, param bhavam, they don't understand my superior nature. Mama bhuta maheshwara, that I am the supreme controller, master of all the living entities. And it's just very hard for people to understand that. When we see in our case, because it has to matter to us also, right? So there are three categories here. One we are talking about devotees like Mother Yashoda, who are Nitya Siddha devotees, completely pure, in alignment with Krishna's desire in Krishna's pastimes. She feels burden of Krishna for Krishna's pleasure, and she puts Krishna down. Then the other extreme contrast is demoniac mentality, who feels burden of understanding Krishna, and they cannot ever carry Krishna or the concept of Krishna basically in their lives, in their hearts. But here we are in between, where we understand Krishna's philosophy, we accept also to some degree, but then we are neither demoniac, we are neither pure like Vrajavasis, we are here in between. For us, the major challenge is to keep carrying Krishna. The only interesting thing, the only difference between Krishna dealing with the demons and us is that he will not make himself heavy to trouble a sadhana a person who is doing his sadhana or a devotee like us. It's us who will act in certain ways which will make Krishna very heavy for us to carry, and we'll just drop him aside. A devotee who practices Krishna consciousness very nicely, or a person who is very new or enthusiastic about bhakti, they're very jolly, very happy in any service given. They're very happy, very excited to read and hear about Krishna. They're very happy when they're chanting and doing kirtan in the temple. But then something changes. That person, when initially one person starts advancing and they have developed natural attachment or attraction for Krishna, they are allotted with some services. They are given some opportunity, some responsibility to serve Krishna. And when that opportunity to serve Krishna comes, naturally due to their affection or some attraction for Krishna, devotees do those activities with some enthusiasm, or a lot of enthusiasm, and which can be called as burden of their affection or burden of their love which they have for the Lord. But then simultaneously, if we as devotees do not protect this very much attraction we are trying to develop for Krishna, then that same burden of love which we feel for Krishna, which is very happily accepted, it doesn't trouble us, but we are enjoying that service to Krishna. That same turns or goes a step down, which turns to burden of just duties and responsibility. And you still do it nicely, but the attachment, the affection for the Lord has gone down. Then comes the third stage, or the next stage, where a person does not have, because they have not invested enough in their relationship with the Lord, and the time is also passing, that same burden or the same responsibility feels hackneyed. Prabhupada uses this word. You just drag along being a devotee, doing your services, and mind naturally starts finding shortcuts because the attachment or the affection for the Lord has vanished or it's going down. Then one naturally just drags, and it's just matter of time when they feel such a heavy weight for the Lord, of the Lord, that they have no choice but to put him down and forget Krishna. And that's where the time is of contemplation for a devotee, especially when they see themselves at the stage of just performing their seva or their sadhana for the sake of finishing. Because why this point I'm discussing, because yesterday one devotee was mentioning that I never leave my 16 rounds, I chant. But I personally know how much drag it feels for me to finish my rounds. And in whole day, I do not even catch myself once nicely remembering Krishna, even though I have finished my 16 rounds. And it is such a task which in my to-do list, I feel is achieved when my 16 rounds are over. And then when my 16 rounds are over, I personally feel, such a burden is over. Now, next day, we'll see again how to deal with it, right? So, and this person is dutiful. He is feeling responsible that I have to finish this off somehow. But there is no liking, there is no affection, there is no emotions invested in that activity. Now, what to speak of picking up a book and reading? What to speak of peacefully sitting, hearing a lecture? Now, what to speak of enthusiastically coming to temple and doing some seva? We are talking about this bare minimum here which feels burdensome. Now, what will happen that once this becomes a drag, then the shortcut starts to come in. And what are these shortcuts? Your 16 rounds chanting turns in the style of His Holiness Prabhupada Swami, kitty kitty ram ram, or it's just somehow finish it and very quickly, and then the achievement itself is how quickly I have finished my rounds. And we take pride that in 1 hour, 15 minutes, I have finished my 16 rounds. And then shortcuts in seva, shortcut in so many ways, so many means. Then comes very dangerous stage, that one's own mind starts rationalizing how and why it is okay if I haven't finished my 16 rounds. So what? I'm telling you exactly what devotees have recently told me when I was in India also, and in Melbourne, that I heard such and such Baba on internet who is very famous, and he said, you just chant whatever names you can chant in your day along with your duties. Because the name of Krishna is so powerful that whatever you can chant, you chant. And this guy is chanting 16 rounds. Now because he has reached to this stage where it feels a drag, such philosophies, such opinions, when we hear, it naturally attracts the mind. Why? Because you're already looking for shortcuts. And then mind has this very amazing potency of rationalizing very low behaviors. And that's where one stays, so what? So what if I drink coffee? So what if I drink tea? One devotee in India mentioned to me, I asked him, oh, you initiated, you're drinking coffee? He said, I saw another initiated devotee drinking coffee, so I thought maybe I'll drink. So see how mind just changed, just tricked. Mind just tricked. It is so normal for devotees these days. In emergency, it's fine. If you're flying in a flight, there is no prasadam, it's fine. If you're in a place, there is no prasadam, it's fine. But it has become so normal for devotees to basically go to restaurants and order a no onion garlic meal. It has become a very common thing. You go to a restaurant and you say, and you don't even question it's vegetarian, non-vegetarian, it's what quality, prasadam, I'm not even talking about. Just no onion, no garlic meal, just give me. Why? Because it has reached that stage where it's easy and mind is just constantly finding ways and means to take shortcuts. Why a devotee feels that way? Because the weight is very heavy of Krishna now. They're just waiting for a right moment to put Krishna down. Basically, just put him aside. Whereas a pure devotee, he also feels the heat, the burden. But burden of what? The burden of how to save, how to help, how to reach out, how to make some changes, how to do some amazing upliftment in devotees' lives. Very nice verse comes in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. This is Prahlad Maharaj saying, Naivo dvije para duratya vaitarnayas tvadvire gayan mahamrita magna chitta sochetato vimukha chetasa indriyartha maya sukhaya bharam udvahato vimudhan. Now this is what Prahlad Maharaj is facing, and he gives another contrast of what people are facing. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, O best of great personalities, I am not at all afraid of material existence. For wherever I stay, I am fully absorbed in your thoughts, in your glories and activities. My concern is for fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans of material happiness and maintaining their families, societies and countries. I am simply concerned with love for them. So Prabhupada, when he does word-to-word translation, there is a word that comes in this verse which is bharam, bhar. So Prabhupada translates that as the false burden or responsibility of maintaining one's family, society and nation and elaborate arrangements for that purpose. So then when a person feels the weight of Krishna and Krishna consciousness and they're planning or strategizing how to effectively put Krishna down, this is the burden that is on the other side is troubling. And what is that burden? Now Prabhupada is very specifically writing, the false burden or responsibility of maintaining one's family, society and nation. Now one has to maintain one's family, even a devotee has to do it. But when one sees that as the goal purpose or the sole purpose and not one's Krishna consciousness, it becomes very difficult to carry both the burdens together. Like we have heard many times devotees mentioning us that, in such a nice kirtan also, if a person cannot dance, that means the burden of sinful reaction or sinful desires is so heavy that he cannot even move. And once sinful reactions reduces, it's easy to glorify and chant and dance. Many times you see devotee kirtan is happening and right at the corner someone is standing, and you have to really encourage for their own good that please move, dance. Why they cannot dance? Because of the burden of sinful reaction, burden of all these false realities one is living in. Imagine, having 50, 70 kg right in your arms, and you have to say dance and Jai Gauranita. It's just so very difficult. That's what the burden does to us. So very difficult. Now, what is the solution for if we have reached that stage that mind is finding shortcuts and mind is on the verge of rationalizing every Krishna conscious practice? This question was once asked to His Holiness Devamrit Swami here in Melbourne, I remember. Maybe in Bhagavatam class or one of the retreats, I can't remember. And Maharaj's answer was so simple, very much to what scripture says, but very nice answer. Maharaj said, if you find yourself in that condition where your desire to serve Krishna, to basically practice Krishna consciousness in enthusiasm has gone low, just take time out, peacefully, just hear about Krishna. Just simply sit and hear about Krishna. Read something about Krishna which you like and just hear some lectures. Basically, the whole idea is just somehow positively think about Krishna. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 14.1, very sweet verse comes. This is Kathanchana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam syat Sri Chaitanyam namamitam. Things that are very difficult to do becomes very easy to execute if somehow or other we simply remember Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if one does not remember him, even easy things become very difficult. To this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I offer my respectful obeisances. So if devotees find themselves in this condition where spiritual enthusiasm is very, very low and mind is just constantly troubling, somehow or other just hear about the Lord. And if one is very specifically wanting to know what to hear, just hear about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes Hari Bhakti Vilas to confirm that difficult things become easy to understand if one remembers Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And easy thing becomes very difficult to understand if one forgets him. If you're discussing or if you're in a sort of counseling sort of session with someone who is going through this situation and you hear them out, the mind is constantly retaliating and fighting in understanding or appreciating the need of good Krishna conscious practice. The mind is just not appreciating the need for it. And if one really remembers Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that understanding becomes easy. The appreciation for remembering Krishna becomes easy. Otherwise, there's so much bombardment happening, right? All the time to us, whether it's political, economical, or whatever, challenges we face. And it becomes so difficult. So difficult. So, these were a few of the thoughts I came up with while studying this purport and pastime. If anyone has any questions, comments, or corrections, please ask. Okay. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Taksham Bhāgavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Bhagom Hikamaniya Vishesha Shobha
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Andani Asa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Jiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnava रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सगन ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama